So for a while now, we've been wondering what Season 2 is going to bring to DMZ. The rumour mill has already churned out a new map that's going to be shared with Battle Royale, smaller than Al Mazrah, but larger than Building 21. We also got confirmation earlier on of a missions update. But last night, we got an official blog post from Infinity Ward giving us exact details on what we're getting in Season 2. And for DMZ fans, it makes for really good reading. DMZ is getting the support that it needs moving forward, and Season 2 will build on what the current version of the game looks like. So if you're excited for Season 2 of DMZ and all the content that's going to be coming our way, go and smash that like button on this video to support it, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Lots more DMZ content coming up on the channel, and we're closing in on 900,000 subscribers. So if you could help us reach that milestone, it'd be really appreciated. Right then, let's dig into this. First things first, that brand new map, a new exclusion zone for DMZ in Season 2. This map is one that's being shared with Battle Royale. It's the upcoming Resurgence map for Warzone 2, rumored to be an island, Rebirth Island, playing host to a central castle area. It's not going to be Rebirth Island, but if you think about that map, it's going to be along those lines. Right now, we don't have specific details on the map itself. That will be coming next week when Infinity Ward reveals some kind of trailer for Season 2. But we do know that the map will be getting brand new faction missions alongside it, specific to that new map, plus Building 21 is getting faction missions as well. This is something that I felt was sorely missing when Building 21 launched in Season 1 Reloaded. We've not really had much incentive to jump onto that smaller PvP-focused map, other than maybe trying to stock up your contraband stash with a bunch of enemy-insured weapons. That's what I did for the first couple of days. I also completed the 7 weapon case extractions that unlock that unique blueprint for the Chimera. I did that pretty early on, when players were still trying to find their feet in the DMZ anyway, so people weren't playing it the same way that they are playing it now. So we now have new faction missions coming to that map in a few weeks' time. I'm definitely going to jump back into Building 21 and complete those and progress the story. And with this brand new exclusion zone coming to the DMZ, that takes the total map count up to 3 for DMZ, giving you multiple different ways that you can experience the mode. We've got Al Mazrah, the wide open desert map with a higher player count, Building 21, mainly PvP focused, and then this new island map that's probably going to sit somewhere in between those two. No word on player numbers yet, we'll probably get that next week. Now let's talk about the wipe that's coming in Season 2 for DMZ. Infinity Ward has announced that your inventory of contraband weapons and keys will be wiped away at the beginning of the season, very similar to how Escape from Tarkov handles things. Now, as far as I understand right now, because they didn't talk about it in the blog post, your insured weapon slots will remain as they are. They didn't actually mention that those were going to be wiped and taken away, but your inventory of collected weapons, or your contraband weapons that you've extracted from the DMZ, along with all the keys and keycards that you might have been saving, those will be wiped and your inventory will be reset. Alongside this, there will be a refresh of the current faction missions in the game as well. This sounds like the devs might be resetting your progress, and unfortunately they didn't go into any further detail in the blog post, but I do think it's highly unlikely that they'd reset your completed missions progress. More likely, what they're intending to do is go in and change and fix some of the missions. As we know, some of them aren't actually labeled correctly, or they don't have the right requirements and you kind of just had to figure out what to do. And some of them can be extremely tedious and boring, like putting 40 blowtorches into a dumpster some random place in Al Mazrah. Some of those were just, completely pointless, and they didn't really do anything inside the story. So my guess is that refresh is going to aim to resolve a lot of those issues and make more changes to how the difficulty ramps up as you go through the tiers. If you've already completed some of the missions that they end up going and changing, my guess is that they'll keep your progression and you won't have to do those missions again. But if you haven't done, say, some of the tier 4 and tier 5 ones, and they go and change the requirements in Season 2, you'll just go ahead and complete the mission with the new requirements rather than doing them with the old ones, because they'll have been updated. What Infinity Ward did mention in the blog post, though, was the mission difficulty. As I said, that's something that they've been tracking through Season 1, and they will be making changes to in Season 2. According to the devs, they've got data to show that the difficulty increase on the missions, tier by tier, was too steep, and it's been stopping people from getting their hands on that second insured weapon slot, something that makes DMZ a lot more appealing as you can bring in your own custom loadout weapons. With 2 different slots available, you can bring that classic 2-weapon loadout into a match, plus your lethals, your tacticals, and your field upgrade. That second insured slot is unlocked when you reach tier 3 on every faction, which isn't as easy as it actually sounds like it is. So for Season 2 onwards, you can expect the progression to be easier to get that second insured slot, but going beyond that, pushing towards tier 4 and tier 5, unlocking that final third insured slot, that's still going to remain quite difficult and quite challenging, which I think is a good thing. It's always something to aim for. The developers also addressed crashes in the blog in DMZ. This has been a constant issue since the launch, and it results in you losing all of your gear from the round that you crash in, plus you lose all of the items in your inventory, like a 3-plate vest, your large backpack, maybe a durable gas mask, and a self-res if you've got those. Crashes are super annoying in DMZ. Admittedly, the situation has improved through Season 1. There are now less crashes than there were before, but the issue is still there. And multiple times, I spawn in without items that I extracted with in the previous round. How many times have you spawned in and your 3-plate and your large backpack, they've just gone for a walk without you? The devs are saying that they will continue to address issues through Season 2, and that's really important because what good is all of this new content? We're going to be getting new weapons in Season 2, of course. We've got the new map, the new faction missions. What good is all of that content going to be if the game just continues to crash and delete all of your items all the time? It's good to hear that they're working on it, but the proof really is in the pudding. We're going to have to see what they do in Season 2. And then, arguably, one of the most frustrating elements of DMZ right now, the AI bots. In Season 2, they're getting some changes. The dev team has data to show that all types of players were getting very annoyed with the inconsistent behavior of the AI, the amount of AI, and their accuracy. Ever been in a PvP situation and suddenly a level 3 armored AI soldier spawns right in behind you and just starts shooting you? Yeah, happens quite a lot. Ever been in an area where you know there aren't any AI because you just killed a load of them, but suddenly 5 or 6 just run round the corner holding a shotgun right in front of you and they 2-tap down you and you don't have a self-revive? Yeah, it's insanely annoying. For Season 2, a bunch of AI balance changes are going to be added to address these kinds of situations, and in general, they're going to smooth out the intensity of the AI. So rather than having these huge peaks of AI where they just never seem to stop spawning in and just running at you, and then these really low points where there's no AI whatsoever, it's likely we're going to see more consistency in the number of AI across the map, which is great news. And their accuracy is going to degrade at range. So you could be 100 meters away from AI sometimes, and they're still landing headshots on you and doing loads of damage. Hopefully, that isn't a thing anymore. If you move away from a bunch of AI, I would hope that these updates make the AI disengage from you, they move away, you can play up, heal back up, and then go back in for another shot. Not just the AI running 150, 200 meters outside of their spawn point, just chasing you down, continuously knocking back on your health. It just gets so frustrating. I really hope that they fix that in Season 2. And then on top of that, spawn points for players are going to be addressed in DMZ. Right now, there are 25, 26 or so spawn points in the DMZ, and some of them have lines of sight onto others, which results in instant PvP gunfights at the start of a round. I actually made a video about this the other week, and it's becoming more and more frequent. Now, don't get me wrong, I like PvP gunfights in DMZ, but not the moment I've spawned in. I'd like to go in and loot a little bit first. And not only that, but some of the spawns, the way they currently are just way worse than others. If you get a spawn in Al Mazrah City, you're pretty good. You can go straight in, get some loot, get some plates, and you're geared up pretty quickly. If you get the spawn that's at Sarif Bay, well, you just better be ready for the most AI anywhere on the map and almost no good loot whatsoever in the town area. So hopefully, Season 2 will aim to fix these spawn issues, and likely, we're going to see some new ones. On paper, Season 2 sounds like a pretty great update to the DMZ. I can't lie though, I was hoping that we'd see something of the confirmed dynamic weather statements show up in this season, alongside some of the adjustments to the out-of-match stash and inventory. So maybe you could take a couple of backpacks out with you and have them in your stash, or maybe just some more space for contraband weapons, stuff like that. But it's likely changes in that realm will take longer to develop, so we might have to wait for Season 3 for that kind of stuff. I will keep mentioning those things though, because I do think they would be really good additions to the game mode, and considering how much I'm enjoying it, I would love to see DMZ keep growing and getting better with new features. If you want to see how amazing DMZ can be when it comes to teamwork and completing missions at the same time, go and check out this video with Stone and Stod from a recent event we did. It's got a really cool ending.